In previous video I showed you how to create an SQLite database, a database that will store all your items and character stats and craftable recipes and effects for equipable items and so on. In this video, however, I'll show you how to create your first panel. To be more specific, we're going to create an inventory panel using panel management system that Universal Inventory System provides. When you imported Universal Inventory System prefab in the last video, you probably noticed that you get some errors if you click on some child elements of it. For example, if you click on a panel manager, you'll probably get an error saying that you haven't assigned a canvas game object on a slot on a panel manager child element of an Universal Inventory System prefab. In order to fix that, you gotta assign your canvas by simply drag and dropping on that slot. If you don't have a canvas inside your project currently, you can easily create it by going to game object and then a canvas, and then just be cautious to select scale with screen size. The same thing goes if you already have canvas implemented in your project. Just make sure that it scales with screen size, and then just copy paste values of X and Y axis, that is your screen width and height, as I just shown you in this video, to the corresponding fields on your canvas inspector. Then we're gonna go to our panel manager and make some adjustments. Well, first gonna make some things clear. So what is panel manager, and what is its purpose, and what's the difference between for example, front-end panel manager and panel manager, and what are all the crazy stuff. Well, if you have all these questions or words, I'll make it clear for you in a moment. Well, if you click on Universal Inventory System in your hierarchy prefab, you'll see that it has database manager, item manager, panel manager, front-end panel manager, and audio manager child elements. Database manager is used for managing all the things that have something to do with database. That is registering items, altering character stats, creating databases, and so on. Item manager is used for managing all the stuff that are related to items. That is, for example, there you can set a path for images that are going to be used on panels once you implemented panels in your game. There you can also set various info messages. For example, you can turn on info messaging system, and that will allow you to have a message on your screen every time you get some error. For example, when you try to relocate an item to a panel that doesn't allow a relocation or something like that. So everything in this Universal Inventory System is modular, and it can and all these properties can be tweaked for each panel individually, but we'll get to that. But let me just continue with the explanation of all the other child elements. So front-end panel manager and panel manager are, when you first hear those names, they sound kind of similar. Like they have some similar functionalities and purposes, but in reality they're not so interlaced. Panel manager is a script that you can use in all the other projects, and it allows you to drag and drop a UI element that has a canvas group component attached to it, and then you can set call keys, that is keys that are going to either hide or show a specific UI element, and you can set animation that dictate how a specific UI element that you assigned is going to either show or hide when you press a specific key. Also, here you can set buttons upon which click a specific panel is going to get either displayed or hidden. Also, you can set all the other settings related to managing panels. For example, you can determine upon which panel call your game will get paused. For example, you can assign 3 panels in panels array on Panel Manager, and you can set for the first one, I don't know, first one can be inventory panel, second one can be your item toolbar panel, and third one can be your crafting panel. And then you can make, using this Panel Manager system, you can set the show animation of your inventory panel, for example, to fade in, hide animation to fade out. Then regarding your crafting panel, you can set it to fly in from top or fly away to right, for example, when hiding. And regarding your item toolbar, you can set, I don't know, that it has no animation when displaying, but when hiding it has fade out kind of wheel. I get all these things later as we progress with this video series. Okay, so you're probably asking yourself, okay, but how do I create a panel in my project? Well, you have 2 options. You can either drag and drop inventory panel that I made up front for you into your hierarchy. You can find it under prefabs and panels folder, and then just drag and drop inventory panel, or you can create it by yourself manually by just creating a panel, a UI element called panel, and then assigning it a canvas group, because every panel in this asset must have a canvas group if you plan to use if you don't use panel system management. And then you gotta assign some slots to it, and then just drag and drop it on front-end Panel Manager, and it will be connected with Universal Inventory Systems backend. But first things first. In this video, I use the first approach. So I drag and drop the prefab that I made up front for these teaching purposes. And now I gotta connect it with the Panel Manager and Front-end Panel Manager. As I said, Panel Manager is only a front-end related thing. It only allows you to hide or show a specific UI element. It doesn't even have to be a panel. You can assign even buttons to them or images. So it's extremely modular, and you can even use it in your other projects. Just drag and drop Panel Manager into your other project, and it will work like a charm. So there's that, and you also gotta assign it on front-end Panel Manager. But before doing that, you just don't forget to also drag and drop a tooltip into your hierarchy, because every panel practically can use a tooltip, and if you don't implement a tooltip but you do implement a panel, you'll probably get an error if you forget if you don't turn off the tooltip system under that specific panel, because you see every panel in that is assigned on front-end Panel Manager under Inventory and Crafting can have a tooltip, and there is also a tooltip for crafting panel that is a little bit different from this one, but we'll get to that in some other video.